The heavy oak door groaned as King Roland pushed it open, unannounced and uninvited, into the dim, book-filled chamber of Elias the Scholar. Dust motes danced in the thin shafts of light piercing the high, narrow windows. Elias sat hunched over a massive leather-bound tome, his quill scratching steadily across parchment. The clank of the king's armor, the heavy tread of his boots, none of it caused the scholar to look up, much less rise or bow. A flush crept up the king's neck. He was Roland the Mighty, Roland the Unbending. He had shattered the Iron Legion at Blackwood Pass, brought the rebellious Duke of Westmarch to heel in chains, and unified the fractured northern provinces under his banner. Men trembled at his approach. Yet here, in this dusty cell of learning, he was ignored like a stable boy. Fury, hot and sharp, surged within him.
"Scholar,"
Roland's voice boomed, echoing off the stone walls.
"do you not know who stands before you? Do your eyes fail you, or your wits? I am Roland. I crushed Magnus the Brute, and left his banners trampled in the mud. I subdued the wolf of Westmarch, and dragged him before the High Council in irons. I command armies, and hold the fate of kingdoms in my hand."
Slowly, deliberately, Elias set down his quill. He turned, his eyes calm pools of deep gray meeting the king's blazing blue. A faint, almost imperceptible smile touched his lips.
"I know precisely who you are, Your Majesty,"
he said, his voice quiet but steady.
"and I tell you this, I am stronger."
Roland's jaw dropped. Laughter, incredulous and sharp, burst from his lips.
"Stronger? You, a man who hides amongst scrolls and dust? What army do you command? What fortress have you stormed?"
"I command no army, but my own will."
Elias replied, unflinching.
"I have stormed no fortress but the one within. You boast of killing Magnus and subduing the wolf, commendable feats of outward strength. But I,"
he leaned forward slightly, his gaze intensifying,
"have slain a foe far more dangerous, a tyrant you still serve."
"What foe? Name him."
"The self,
Elias declared.
the raging, demanding, insatiable self. I have mastered mine. You, mighty Roland, conqueror of men, are still utterly enslaved by yours. If you were truly its master, you would not stand here, trembling with wounded pride, demanding that I, a man like yourself, bow and scrape and worship you. You would not need my submission to feel powerful. True power lies not in commanding others, but in commanding oneself."
The word struck Roland like a physical blow. The righteous fury drained from him, leaving behind a sudden, hollow chill. He saw the truth reflected in the scholar's unwavering gaze. His conquests, his titles, his demands for reverence, they were not signs of strength, but desperate bids to appease the hungry, insecure creature within. Shame, profound and unfamiliar, washed over him. The clangor of armor seemed suddenly foolish, the weight of his crown oppressive. He took an unsteady step back, his gaze dropping from Elias's serene face.
I see."
Roland stammered, his voice thick. The bluster was gone.
"Forgive me, Master Elias. My pride, my anger, they blinded me. Your words, they cut deeper than any sword."
He stood before the simple scholar not as a king, but as a man humbled, seeking absolution for a folly he only now understood. All right, folks, let's decode this tale. Welcome back to DecodeTales. Let's settle in and really unpack this one, shall we? That story, The Unbowed Sage, packs a quiet punch beneath its simple surface. On the face of it, we've got a powerful king, Roland, used to everyone jumping when he enters a room, meeting a scholar, Elias, who just doesn't. He keeps reading, ignores the royal presence completely. Naturally, Roland's ego goes into overdrive. He lists his impressive resume, conquered this rebel, crushed that enemy, rules vast lands. Classic external power display. But Elias? He doesn't flinch. Instead, he drops this bombshell. I am stronger. And his reasoning flips the whole script. Roland's strength is all about dominating others. Elias's strength is about mastering himself. He claims he's slain the most dangerous tyrant, his own selfish, demanding nature, his ego. Roland, for all his castles and armies, is still a slave to his. Why else would he need a humble scholar's bow to feel like a king? That's the core of it, right there. So, what's this tale really teaching us here on DecodeTales? A few key things. True power is internal. The loudest boasts, the biggest armies, the shiniest crown. They're impressive, sure, but they're ultimately external. They can be lost. Real, unshakable strength comes from self-discipline, self-awareness, and controlling your own impulses and ego. Elias, in his quiet study, embodies this. Roland, in all his clanking glory, realizes he lacks it. The tyranny of the ego, that self Elias talks about, that's our own inner tyrant, the part that craves constant validation, gets easily offended, demands special treatment, and lashes out when it doesn't get its way. Roland's initial rage is pure ego, wounded because someone dared not acknowledge its self-proclaimed importance. We all have this inner tyrant. The story asks, who's the master, and who's the slave in your own mind? Humility is strength, not weakness. Elias's refusal to bow isn't arrogance, it's integrity. He won't break his own principles or compromise his focus, his study symbolizing his inner work, just to feed someone else's ego. His calm confidence comes from a deep inner security Roland initially lacks. Roland's eventual humility in admitting fault is his first step towards genuine strength. Reshaped versus worldly power. The story cleverly contrasts two value systems. Roland represents worldly power, status, and dominance. Elias represents wisdom, inner peace, and self-mastery. The encounter shows that the latter can disarm and humble the former simply by revealing its inner fragility. Real respect is earned through character, not demanded through force or title. It's a timeless reminder, isn't it? Especially in our world where external validation and projecting power often seem like the ultimate goals. This story whispers, look inward, conquer the enemy within. That's the battle that truly defines your strength. So, DecodeTales crew, what did you make of King Roland's moment of truth? Did Elias's words resonate? Have you ever had a moment where you realized your own ego was running the show? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love hearing your perspectives. If you enjoyed peeling back the layers of this wisdom story, be sure to check out our other videos where we decode more tales from around the world. Hit that like button if this gave you something to think about and subscribe to DecodeTales so you don't miss the next story and analysis. Thanks for listening and keep seeking the deeper meaning.